Hey guys! Today we'll be covering a 2019 mini-drama series called Not a Robot. Ga-yoon is a high schooler who is moving into her uncle's apartment after the death of her mother. She has always been reserved, but the recent changes have made her stop talking to her friends. Her uncle is always away out on business trips, so she is glad she doesn't have to socialize with anyone at home. But then she is startled by a strange man who also lives in the house. He is a house robot named Do-young, appointed by her uncle to take care of the apartment. He seems to understand her, but doesn't talk back. At first, Ga-yoon thinks he is strange, but she is glad she doesn't have to converse with him if she doesn't want to. At night, she has dinner with her uncle, who reveals that the robot could talk when it was first bought. However, something seems to have happened to him today. On giving it a thought, Ga-yoon concludes that he must be going through a system malfunction. A few days pass with Do-young not saying a single word to Ga-yoon. This gives her a chance to be herself in front of him. She shows him memes on the internet and laughs, without overthinking what he thinks of her. In the evening, a few of Ga-yoon's boxes arrive from the old house. Do-young tries helping her, but she says she wants to do everything on her own. In reality, the boxes have pictures of her mother, which she doesn't want anyone to see, not even the robot. The next day is her first day of the new school semester. Unlike how Ga-yoon is at home, she doesn't talk to her friends. She only replies when asked a question, which makes the others believe she is mad at them for some reason. It starts to rain after school, but Ga-yoon has forgotten to bring her umbrella. She watches a classmate's mother come to pick her up, which reminds her of her own mother. Suddenly, she feels a presence near her. Do-young has come with an umbrella to bring her home. At night, the two are folding clothes together. Ga-yoon thanks him for coming, even though he wasn't ordered to do so. While trying to walk away, she trips, but the robot saves her from injuring herself. He speaks for the first time and asks her if she is okay. Ga-yoon is shocked at the new revelation. In a flashback, we see how Do-young's life was before Ga-yoon's arrival. He was alone in the house, and even though he was a robot, he felt lonely. When he saw Ga-yoon for the first time, something happened in his system and he lost his voice. The malfunction stayed like that for a few days, until last night. The next day, a new student is admitted to their class who happens to be a robot. Do-young has come to keep a close eye on her and to find out why he couldn't speak when he first saw her. Robots are not allowed to go to school or work, and if people find out about this, they will be dismantled. However, Do-young doesn't care and wants to stay close to Ga-yoon. During break time, a girl asks Ga-yoon to write the names of chapters in the group chat, but she deliberately tells her the wrong chapter numbers, so the next day, everyone messes up the homework. They blame Ga-yoon for the mess, even though it was the other girl's fault. A shy Ga-yoon knows it is unfair, but she's afraid of confrontation. At home, Do-young motivates her to do what is right. So, Ga-yoon musters up the courage and calls the girl out for putting the blame on her. The girl refuses to apologize, but Ga-yoon feels a lot better after that. As days pass, the rumors about Do-young and Ga-yoon dating start going around the school. Do-young is always staring at her, which is why people think they are together. Ga-yoon makes him understand that staring at people is not good etiquette. Do-young is fond of looking at her, but he agrees to refrain. Then, we are introduced to the most popular guy in the class, Sung-yoon. He and a girl named Yao-reem have been best friends since their childhood. Yao-reem is in love with him, but Sung-yoon seems to like Ga-yoon. Yao-reem is clearly jealous of Ga-yoon, but since they are in the same friend group, she doesn't want to create drama. Moreover, Ga-yoon has always been nice to her, which makes her feel worse. Sung-yoon invites both of them to hang out after school. They go to a restaurant where Ga-yoon realizes how close Sung-yoon and Yao-reem are. Later, while returning home, she sees Do-young waiting for her. She doesn't tell him this, but she is glad someone actually cares for her enough to wait without being asked. One day, Do-young comes across a trio of bullies. Ga-yoon saves him from them and brings him aside. As they are talking about hiding his identity, Sung-yoon overhears and finds out Do-young is a robot. At school, Do-young is again surrounded by bullies. Ga-yoon rescues him, but this time, a guy named Jae sees that Do-young's eyes are glowing red. He begins suspecting Do-young, but doesn't act on it yet. Sung-yoon tells Do-young that he knows he is a robot, but instead of revealing it to everyone, he decides to help Ga-yoon hide Do-young's identity. In English language class, Ga-yoon is paired with Yao-reem and two of her friends for a group project. They divide the work among themselves, and Ga-yoon ends up with the presentation part. She is socially anxious and can hardly speak in groups, but is too shy to tell her friends. For the next week, she practices the text, but as the day of the presentation gets closer, anxiety gets the best of her. She even has a nightmare of messing up the entire script. On the day of the presentation, Ga-yoon does as she had expected. Somehow she completes the script, but stammers and stutters many times along the way. After school, the girls decide to go out and eat, but Ga-yoon is not in the mood. Yao-reem tries asking her what happened, but finds her crying. She realizes that Gayun is sad about messing up and tells her that it's okay. She even invites her to come to her anytime she wants someone to talk to. After talking to her, Gayun feels a lot better. On the weekend, the girls decide to go out to shop. Gayun arrives at the said location, but the girls are late. She walks around the mall alone and is surprised to find the girls in a beauty shop. They had come early to hang out without her. This makes her feel like she is a burden to the group. To add to her misery, Yao Rim ignores her the entire time they are together. The same thing continues in school, and it starts bothering Gayun a lot. During recess, she loses her temper and asks Yao Rim why she is being distant. Suddenly, the others jump out of the shelves with a cake, revealing that the girls were planning a birthday surprise for her. After the incident, Gayun is much more comfortable around her friends. In the following scene, we are shown the unbreakable bond between Yao Rim and Sung Yun. He always stays with her when she is sick and has been taking care of her since middle school. Somewhere else, Do Young and the bully Jae go to the cyber cafe together and play games. Jae can tell that he is a robot, but he likes spending time with him nonetheless. When the two are together, Jae is much less of a bully. However, Jae's other friends always take advantage of him and make him pay for everything. Do Young notices this and calls them out for treating Jae like trash. Jae knows he is telling the truth, but it still hurts him. He refuses to talk to Do Young after that. The following day, Do Young and Gayun go shopping. Do Young buys himself a hat and gets one for Jae as well. At school, Jae and his friends are planning to take a picture of Do Young's face to reveal that he is a robot, since a robot's eyes glow in pictures. In class, Do Young gives Jae the hat and treats him as a true friend. This makes Jae change his mind. Later, he goes to his friends and throws their phones away, urging them not to take pictures of Do Young. This gets him beaten to a pulp, but he feels a lot better than when he was in their group. That weekend, Gayun, Do Young, and their group of friends go on a trip. Gayun suspects that Do Young likes her romantically and tries to stay away from him as much as she can. This is especially difficult because he acts like himself and takes care of her whenever he can. At the end of the day, they go on a walk together. Do Young asks her what is wrong, which makes Gayun realize that she has been acting strange the entire day. Still, she refrains from telling him what she is thinking, and the two return to their hotel. After returning from the trip, everyone gets busy with their lives. Gayun and Yeo Reem join private classes to prepare for the final test. Gayun, who is finally satisfied with her school life, is faced with another shock on her first day. Her former best friend Mina is also in the private class and is soon joining their high school. A flashback shows us how Mina and Gayun's friendship started. Gayun was not much of a talker in middle school as well, but on the first day, Mina approached her and introduced herself. Since they only knew each other, they soon became inseparable. Mina did not get good grades and her parents were very strict about it. One day, Gayun told her that bad grades are not that big a deal. The simple comment caused more problems than it should have, and Mina stopped talking to her altogether. Gayun was bullied by Mina's new friends and was lonely, but her former friend never apologized. Back in the present, Mina acts like everything is fine between them. But upon seeing Gayun with her new friends, she feels envious. Later that day, she approaches Do Young and asks him to join the volunteer club. Do Young loves cats, and since one of the activities that the club does is rescue animals, he agrees to sign up. Just then, Gayun arrives and is asked to do the same. She is not interested in being with Mina, but she agrees to do it anyway. The three work together to create logos. While they are at it, Mina makes several passive-aggressive comments about Gayun. She subtly tells Do Young how bad a friend Gayun is and refuses to acknowledge her mistake. To complete the application, she takes a picture of Do Young. On her way back, she looks at the picture and sees Do Young's eyes glowing. It is clear that he is not human. Still, she refrains from calling him out. When they hang out the next day, she invites the two to watch a horror film. As Gayun is scared of such movies, she suggests they go on their own. Mina is happy because she wants to steal Do Young from Gayun. However, throughout the time they are together, Do Young continues talking about Gayun. When he later returns home, Gayun refuses to talk to him. Upon being urged, she reveals that she was bullied by Mina in middle school. After finding out how Mina treated her, Do Young refuses to be her friend. The following day, he tells her that he is quitting the club. But before he leaves, Mina calls him out for being a robot. If she tells the authorities, Gayun and his friends will be in trouble. So, Do Young deliberately leaves the school and tells the authorities before they find out from someone else. Gayun doesn't see him for the entire day and is worried. She had seen him with Mina yesterday, which makes her believe she had something to do with his disappearance. Mina reveals that she knows he's a robot, but refuses to say anything else. The next day, Gayun's uncle gets a call from Do Young's agency. He has turned himself in and is being held at the warehouse. Gayun goes to visit him, but doesn't say a word throughout the meeting. Both of them remember the time they spent with each other and realize they have fallen in love. For the next month, Gayun slowly gets over him. Her friends help her by distracting her as much as they can. Then one day, Gayun returns home from school and lies down on the couch. Suddenly, Du Young greets her from the kitchen.